Well, hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. And for anybody new, welcome to Larry's House of Hockey. Now I didn't do this last week because it was the All-Star break last week, so I didn't do a power rankings for last week, but I'm doing one for this week. And now it's interesting. There's some teams that moved. Some moved a little bit higher than I think, they maybe should have, because they didn't really play any games, but some teams did, and they just dropped. And so, yeah, some teams only played one game this week. Like there was one team that didn't play any games this week. But next week, everything kind of gets back into the swing of things. So let's start out here. Move that forward a little bit. All right, let's start out here. Number 32, they stay put. They basically stay put. Chicago, so the Blackhawks, of course, they basically stay at number 32. They're not good. they're not very good at all right now, and I mean, not exactly surprising. So that they stay number 32. Number 31, moving down one spot. Now these guys, I mean, this is a team that, how many games did they play? They only played one game this week, but they lost it. So, they lose it. So they drop a spot. Anaheim. So Anaheim, they drop a spot. And, it's just, I mean, what can you say? The Ducks are just, they're basically in the running for the lottery this year again. So them and Chicago, the definitely be two teams in the lottery. So yeah, Anaheim's number 31. Number 30, moving up a spot, even though they didn't play at all this week. They didn't play a game this week, but they moved up a spot. San Jose. So the Sharks. The Sharks move up a spot, mainly because they didn't play at all, but because, Anaheim played, they lost, so San Jose, even though they didn't play, they move up one spot. Go figure, huh? Number 29, now these guys stay in the same spot. These guys only played one game also. They lost their only game this week. Columbus, the Blue Jackets. So these bottom four teams are just, I mean, they're teams that are definitely going to be in the lottery, and most likely will be in the lottery. And whoever gets the number one pick this year, who knows? But yeah, Columbus, they sit there at number 29. Number 28. Now these guys dropped a number of spots. They dropped 4 spots. They went 1-1 on the week. But again, a lot of times, they just got passed, and that's Montreal. So the Canadians, they're doing well. They're competitive. They're competitive, and even though they lost tonight, they're a very competitive. They're a very competitive team, and they hang around. They're really good at hanging around, and they're another one of those teams. They're not that good. Number 27. Now this is another team that's dropped. And this is a team that honestly, I would have thought, I would have definitely thought they'd have been better. But yeah, these guys dropped 5 spots, and yeah, they've lost 2 in a row. Pittsburgh. So the Penguins, I don't know what to do about the Penguins. I really don't know I don't know. I don't know what to do about them. They're one of those teams that just, I don't know. I don't know what, you know, what do they do? They're good, they're bad, they're just, they're all over the place. And right now, seeing them in the bottom row, it's odd to see them in the bottom row, but there they are. Number 26. Now these guys dropped also. These guys dropped 3 spots. They went 0-1-1 this week. They didn't win a game this week, so they drop a little bit, and that's Arizona. So the Coyotes, they other than having arena issues, basically, they trying to figure out what to do about an arena. The on ice product is not, it's not bad. It's not, I mean, it's not horrible, but it's just not that great either. They struggle, and they're playing in a college building that doesn't sell out. So, but the on ice product is getting better. That's the plus there, is the on ice product is getting better. Number 25. Now these guys stayed in the same spot. Boy, these guys have struggled hardcore recently. And they've actually won 2 in a row. They won the only game they played this week. They stay in the same spot, LA. So the Kings, all 3 California teams are in the bottom row. LA just a number of weeks ago was up here. I don't know what the heck happened to the LA Kings, but wow, did they drop. They dropped off a cliff. And they're number 25. And they're even though they've won a couple in a row, so I mean hopefully they can build themselves back up here. But yeah, they've not had, the last few weeks have been very, very hard, very tough on the LA Kings. Number 24. Now these guys moved up 3 spots. These guys have actually been somewhat winning. They're 6-2, and they won their game tonight, and they're 6-2-2 in the last 10. They've won 3 straight, dating back before the All-Star break. Ottawa. Break up the Ottawa Senators, right? They've won 3 in a row. They beat Toronto tonight, and I mean, they're doing well. I mean, there's no danger of any playoff teams that are ahead of them catching them. But it's good to see them winning some games. It's a good thing to see them finally winning some games, because they're one of those teams that honestly I thought was going to be a playoff contender this year. I really did. And it hasn't been the case. But, dating back before the All-Star break, they won 3 in a row. So, good on Ottawa. Number 23, moving down 5 spots. This is another team that I thought was going to be a playoff contending team. And it hasn't been there. Buffalo. The Buffalo Sabres are just, I don't know. They were another one of those teams that I honestly thought was going to be a playoff contender. And it hasn't been there. It has not been there for the Sabres. And, if they miss the playoffs again this year, what will that be? 12 years in a row that they will have missed the playoffs? Something's got to turn around for the Sabres at some point, you would think. Because, to be out of the playoffs that long, yeah, something's got to change there. Hopefully it happens sooner rather than later. Number 22. Now these guys moved up 6 spots. I mean, they did okay. They've won the last 2 games, and they're only 6-4 in the last 10. But again, they're on a 2-game win streak, and it's Minnesota. Now the Wild, again, they're another one of those teams that is just, they're good, they're bad. They're they're interesting to watch. They're interesting to watch, not necessarily because it's real exciting hockey, but I mean, they've got some talent on that team. They should, to me, I would think they should be better than what they are. But for a fan of the team, I honestly wouldn't mind if they were bad, because maybe they get lucky, get in the lottery, and get a high draft pick. That's my thought for the Wild. So, but they've won a couple of games in a row, and here they are, 22. Number 21. Now these guys dropped a couple spots. They went 1-1-1 this week. They did lose they lost the last game in overtime. New Jersey. So the Devils, definitely an underachieving team right now. They are truly underachieving. Because based on last year, they made the second round of the playoffs last year. They made the division final last year. And this year it's been a struggle. It's been a struggle this year, and I really do like the signings that they made, but it's not working right now. And I don't know. Their goaltending, they need some help in net for sure. But is New Jersey still potentially a threat for the playoffs? Oh yeah, I think so. They gotta string some wins together though. Number 20. Now these guys stayed in the same spot. And yes, some of these teams bounce all over the place. These guys went 1-2 on the week. They did win their last game. And the Capitals. So Ovechkin is on, I think, what did I hear? A 4-game goal streak right now. Ovi's finally starting to get, he's now only 60 behind Wayne Gretzky. Now, even though it hasn't been a typical Ovi scoring season, if he hits 20 goals, he's obviously slowed down. He's older, so he's obviously slowed down. But you got to think, if he can, get to, by the end of the year, if he can get, say, 50 behind Gretzky, I think that'll be a plus. And Washington, they're a team. They're up, they're down, and a playoff team, maybe. I'm not necessarily counting on it, but who knows? Number 19. Now these guys dropped 4 spots. Now these guys were on a good little win streak at one point, but now they've kind of fallen off. They did lose their only game this week. They've lost their last 2 dating before the All-Star break, and I had it upside down. Seattle. So the Kraken are just, well, another team that had a good run last year. Now they were a team to me that overachieved. With New Jersey's underachieving. Seattle last year overachieved. So they're definitely underachieving this year, but they overachieved last year. So, we'll see if Seattle can turn that around, but yeah, right now it's kind of a it's kind of a slog right now for Seattle, but there they are. They're number 19. Now number 18. Now these guys didn't really do a whole lot to move up this far. It just, some of these other teams, they kind of were, even though these guys were kind of meh, but, some of these other teams just, they'd struggle and it kind of moved them up. And it's the New York Islanders. Now, the New York Islanders, again, it's not that they've really done a whole lot to move up as far as they have, but they're trying, And they're a team that, if they do make the playoffs, oh, sorry, sneezing fit there. Nothing like a couple of sneezes right before. Didn't think y'all wanted to hear me sneeze. But back to the Islanders. The Islanders are a team, if they make the playoffs, is there anybody that would want to play them? I mean, is there really a team that would want to play the New York Islanders if they get in the playoffs? Even though the Islanders right now, they're 4 points out of a wild card spot. So, but if the Islanders find their way in there, who knows? If the Islanders find their way in there, I don't know if I'd want to see them. But yeah. So yeah, there they are. Number 17. Now these guys stay in the same spot. Like I said, I've got teams that are just moving all over the frickin' place tonight. These guys stay in the same spot. They did win the only game they played this week, and that's Nashville. So the Predators are another one of those teams that, can they make the playoffs? I mean, I don't know. Can they make the playoffs? It's possible. I mean, right now, they're currently tied with St. Louis. They're currently tied for St. Louis for the number 2 wildcard spot, but St. Louis has that spot right now, and St. Louis has 2 games in hand. So, St. Louis has been on a nice little run here too, and St. Louis is right now in a playoff spot. We'll see whether or not they can hold that, but yeah, Nashville is right there with them, and again, Nashville's played 2 more games. Let's see what let's see what they can do. Number 16. Now this was a team that they moved up a number of spots, or they've moved down a number of spots, and I mean, these guys they've struggled. They went 1-2 this week, and this was a team that was in the top row for a good while. Winnipeg. So the Jets are, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with them. They don't know. They seem like they can't score right now. Their goaltending hasn't been the greatest. I mean, Hellebuck's been decent. Brossoit's been decent, but lately it's just But they can't score right now. They don't know. I don't know where their offense went. I don't know where their goal scoring went, but they got to get that turned around pretty quick here. Because yeah, for a team that was up here just a couple weeks ago, seeing them down there, the last team in the second row, oofta. Number 15. Now these guys moved up 6 spots. These guys have been on a heater lately. These guys have been doing pretty well. They went 3-0 this week. They've won their last 4 in a row. Calgary. So the Flames. Who ignited the Flames? And yes, pun intended. Who ignited them? Because they've been playing really good lately. I mean, Huberdeau is playing well. Kadri's doing good. Markstrom, of course. There's trade rumors around Markstrom. They bring Wolf back up. And Calgary's looking good right now. They really are looking good right now. And, is this a team that could make the playoffs? Maybe. They themselves, they're only 1 point. They're 1 point behind Nashville and St. Louis for the wild card spot. So who knows? Calgary could find their way back in there. You never know. If Calgary finds their way back in there, well, could they make some noise? Possible. Number 14. Now these guys went 1-2 this week, and it's weird. I don't know what it is. With these guys, the Toronto Maple Leafs. I don't know what it is with them. They go and they beat a team like Dallas. Then they turn around and they get shellacked by Ottawa. What? I don't know. Toronto is... I try to come up with words sometimes to describe the Maple Leafs, but... what? I mean, it's just... What? What do you do? What can you say? What can you come up with? They're the epitome of hot, cold. Hot one game, cold the next. I don't know. But right now, they're number 14. Number 13. Now, these guys moved up a spot. And these guys have done all right. They won their only game this week, but they're 7-2-1 in the last 10. And they right now, I believe, are in a playoff spot in the Eastern Conference. Yes, they are. They're the number 2 wild card in the Eastern Conference, and that's Detroit. The Red Wings are, I mean, they're playing well. They're playing really well, and yeah, I mean, you know, Detroit right now, I mean, is that a team that you're really going to want to see in the playoffs? I mean, they're not one of those teams that would necessarily be favored to beat anybody, especially from the wild card spot, but this is proof the Yzer plan is working. The plan that Steve Yzerman had when he came into Detroit, it's working. So, you know, we'll see what they can do. And yeah, right now they're number 13. Number 12. Now these guys move up a spot, and these guys have played well too. They went 1-0 this week, and you know they're 6-3-1 in their last 10, and they're sitting on a playoff spot too right now. St. Louis. So the Blues are playing well. They changed coaches, and it definitely seemed like it helped. And yeah, so the St. Louis Blues, you know, Bennington's doing well. A lot of those guys on the Blues are playing well, and you know, we'll see if they can keep that going. Number 11. Now these guys have dropped 4 spots. Now this is a team that they went 1-2 this week, and they're hot and cold also. But are they a team that you'd want to see in the playoffs? Hell no. Tampa Bay. The Tampa Bay Lightning, I mean, they're a team. What are they? Are they a dangerous team? Oh, yeah. But they play so good in some games and just horrible in others. And, you know, I mean, they're still in the second row, fortunately, and they are in a playoff spot, I believe, right now. Yep, they are third. They are third in their division, which if the playoffs started right now, you'd see a Battle of Florida in the first round. Ooh boy, yeah, ooh boy, what an interesting series that would be. But yeah. The Tampa Bay Lightning are number 11 currently. And, you know, again, they're hot, they're cold. We'll see what they can do as the weeks continue. Number 10. Now, these guys moved up 6 spots. Now, these guys are on a little bit of these guys are looking good, too. They've won 3 straight. They won all 3 of their games this week. Philadelphia. Now, the Flyers, they're another one of those teams. When it comes to these rankings, up, down, up, down. They're very good. They're very good some games. They're not so good the next. And, you know, they're sitting in a playoff spot right now, though. They're number 3 in their division. So, you know, can they stay there? I don't know. Can they even move up in the division? Maybe, probably not, because they're they've played 2 more games than Carolina, and Carolina's got a 3-point lead on them. So I don't know, but Philadelphia, they're hanging in. They're playing well right now, and we'll see we'll see what more they can do. Number 9. Now these guys moved up 3 spots. These guys are playing well also. They have won 4 in a row. 3-0 this week. The Rangers. So the Rangers are playing really well right now. They're playing really well. And I mean, what can you say? They're doing damn good. And honestly, I thought about flipping them with the team that I have number 8. And honestly, I probably should flip them, but as of right now, but because of where this team was a couple weeks ago, I don't know. But very, very easily I could have flip-flopped 8 and 9. Number 8, dropping 6 spots because they have lost 4 in a row also. They've lost 4 in a row. Colorado. So the Avalanche, like I said, I could easily flip-flop them and the New York Rangers. I thought about it. I really thought about it. Because Colorado is, I don't know what's going on with them right now too. They've had some stretches like this where they've struggled too. And yeah, they're losers of 4 in a row, and it's but I could very easily see people in the comments section, yeah, you should have flip-flopped the Rangers and the Avalanche. Yeah, possibly, because I definitely thought about it. But right now, they've dropped 6 spots, and puts them at number 8. Number 7, these guys moved up a spot, and these guys have played well too. They won both their games this week. Obviously on a 2-game win streak, 7-2-1 in the last 10. The defending champions. So the Vegas Golden Knights, they're playing well, and the champions are starting to look like the champions. And yeah, so Vegas doing Vegas things, and oddly enough for Vegas, they have the Super Bowl tomorrow at the football stadium out there. What is it called? Allegiant Stadium, I think is what it's called. It's where the Las Vegas Raiders play. So yeah, Vegas has got a lot of good things going on right now. They got the Super Bowl. Their hockey team's the defending champions. Vegas is doing all right. Number 6. Now these guys moved up 4 spots. Now I probably dropped them a little too far the couple weeks ago, because they're still playing halfway decent too. They're 6-1-3 in the last 10. They did lose the last game that they played in overtime, and they went 1-1-1 on the week. But I got them back a little higher again. Vancouver. So the Canucks, like I said, I probably dropped them a little too far a couple weeks ago. But but they had it halfway. They've looked halfway decent, and they still have the best record in the league. So they're back in the top row at number 6. Number 5, staying in the same spot. These guys have had a good run over the last 10 games too. They're 7-2-1 in the last 10. 2-1 this week. Dallas. So the Dallas Stars. Now some people will probably say, you should have Vancouver ahead of Dallas. Maybe, but I don't know. I think Dallas is playing a little bit better right now. At least for this week, right after the All-Star game. So, in Dallas, they're number 5. Hintz, Heiskanen, Sagan, Ben, Ottinger. These guys are playing really well. And yeah. So, there they are at number 5, and I think they're leading the division right now, actually. Let me look. Yep, They have a 2-point lead. They have a 2-point lead in the Central. So they're doing well. They're doing well, and yeah, so they're in the top 5. Number 4. Now these guys moved up 2 spots. And what did they go this week? They've gone 2-1 on the week. Winners of 2 in a row. These guys are winners of 2 in a row. And again, they're looking real good, and they kind of put a beat down on Colorado tonight, Florida. So the Panthers they're looking good too. They're a team that, I mean, would you really want to see them come playoff time? Probably not. Even though right now they would be playing the other team from Florida. They'd be playing Tampa in the first round if they played each other. But so yeah, Florida at number 4, definitely a good spot for them, I think. Number 3, dropping 2 spots. These guys were on a 16-game winning streak that got snapped, and now they've kind of lost. They've lost 2 or 3 since then. So I mean, obviously they drop a couple of spots. Edmonton. I mean, they won 16 in a row. That's a hell of an accomplishment. And you know, to win 16 in a row, you got to be pretty darn good. Now, granted, they have lost 2 or 3 since then. But do you see them going on any kind of prolonged losing streak again? I don't think so. But yeah, they were number 1 a couple weeks ago. So now they're number 3. Number 2. These guys are doing pretty well too. They went 1-2 this week though. 7-3 in the last 10. Boston. So the Bruins are sitting at number 2, and kind of a familiar spot. I mean, the Bruins are in the top row. Like I said, familiar spot for them. And yeah, I mean, Boston's doing well, and I think they're leading their division right now. They've got a 3-point lead in their division, and yeah, they're playing well, and they've got some sweet Centennial jerseys, and yeah, we'll see what they can do the rest of the way. And number 1, moving up 2 spots. I'm trying to remember if they've been number 1. I'd have to look back in my my little notes here to see if they've been number 1. I don't think they've been number 1 in the power rankings yet, but they've been darn close. Carolina. So the Hurricanes, or as they were known today, the Whalers, they're playing really well too. I mean, they are, even though they're 4 points behind the New York Rangers in the division, but again, they're playing well, and it's kind of hard to catch. It's kind of hard to catch a team, even though you're on a winning streak. It's kind of hard to catch that team ahead of you because they're winning too. But right now, as of this week, I got Carolina number 1, and let me know why you think I'm totally crazy. let me know in the comments section how crazy you think I am. What teams do you think should be where? What teams do I have ranked too high? What teams do I have ranked too low? Let me know in the comments section. And yeah, so please like this video. It would be greatly appreciated. Also, please subscribe to the channel. That would also be greatly appreciated. And if you feel like sharing this video, or any other of my videos on the channel, whether it's jersey unboxings, something that maybe your other friends or something need to know, or would like to know and don't know, go ahead and share. Whatever video you want to share, go ahead and share it. And of course, leave your comments in the comments section about how crazy you think I am, and where, what team I think that you might think is too high, or what team might be too low. So, again, Let me know why I belong in a straitjacket because of where I have some of these teams. And, leave that in the comment section. Again, please like the channel. Please subscribe. I will see you guys later.